okay. I'm seeing live 24. We might be live, brother.
Well, you know what? If we are live, great. If you're joining us, welcome.
Hello.
So, hi, I am T-Bone. He's Eric Reeser. Am I doing this right? Hey, Eric Reeser's right there. Look at this. It's like the Brady Bunch.
Just do what feels right.
So we have a good panel of guests coming in today. Of course, if you've been following this, we've been doing this every week with the college football rankings, playoff rankings every Tuesday night. We've been reacting live. Last week was really fun, Reeser, because Jeff Thidoff and I know Austin Ward was in, and Bodie Wells was hosting as well. And it was like a basketball game that went for 40 minutes over what it was supposed to. So tonight, I don't think we'll have that problem because we have Sports Center leading into the rankings, so it should go right into it.
Start now.
Yes, looking like they will. So why don't we bring in a couple people here? Let's bring in Tyvis is here as well. Tyvis Powell, of course. You can hear him with me, T-Bone and Tyvis, most mornings. Not this morning, but how you feeling, Mr. PTO?
Look at this. I take one day off. You must have really missed me today.
Oh, I more than words can describe. Yeah, more than words, honestly. And let's also bring in Scotty Vegas while we're here, our resident gambling expert and college football lover, unlike anyone else at the station. Hello, Scotty. Good afternoon. Good evening. What time is it? I don't know. My body clock's all screwed up. Yeah.
What's up, guys? This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, we should have a good time here. So, Scotty, you asked this I saw this on Twitter. You asked about what is the number one thing that you're interested in, and I thought yours was great.
Yeah. So for me, there's a couple things. One is what do they do with Ole Miss, right? Like do they move them down? Because honestly, as a Buckeye fan, I would love to see them move into that 8-9 game because I don't think they're a threat, right? You think about those teams that are a threat to Ohio State. I'm still scared of Notre Dame. And so I want to avoid Notre Dame in that 8-9 game. So I'm curious what they do with Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin being gone. Do you guys think they fall because of that?
Personally, I would take them out. I wouldn't even let them go.
Oh, you kick them out of the playoff?
Yeah, I would. Oh. I would do what happened to Florida State in that year when they lost their quarterback. I would treat it as such. Because
you're punishing all the players though, Tyvis.
Yeah, I had to deal with it before when I played in 2012, so it's fine. They'll be fine.
This is all about retribution.
For them? Is that what you asking for me? No.
I've learned that Tyvis doesn't really care as much about that shouldn't have happened to me, so I won't do that to someone else. Tyvis is like, they did it to me, do it to them. I don't care.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It builds character.
I think the committee can talk themselves into a couple of things, and one of them is being less SEC, because if Virginia, say, beats Duke in the ACC championship game, they've already kind of shown you that they really like Miami. And so they can nudge an extra ACC team in, being the U. And if BYU is able to beat Texas Tech, they'll put in 2 Big 12 teams. So at that point, you can look at an SEC at large and be like, do we really want that?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Do they like Miami that much? Because Reese, they still have Miami way, or at least in previous weeks, they've had them way below Notre Dame. So
but even when it feels like a path to the title tilt, they still had them in. They had them in the bracket. Now the rankings is one of the things is almost the biggest waste of time, in my opinion, because the rankings won't reflect the actual bracket, and the only thing Miami should care about is making the actual bracket.
Yeah, that's very fair. We're already seeing some stuff come in here. So we have number 25, James Madison, which that they don't. Yeah, they've kept them down low. Again, most of these aren't going to matter at the early part, but group of 5 stuff. James Madison 25, North Texas 24, Iowa's in at 23.
Where did James Madison's coach go?
Where their coach? Is that Bob Chesney, Kenny's brother? I believe is heading to UCLA. I don't know if they finalized that, but yeah, that's it. So you can
leave him out too.
But he's not leaving. That's the thing. Is he would probably coach JMU. Kalani Sitake, who now is returning to BYU, he is it looks like, going to stay there. But if he were to leave, there were questions of whether or not you would have this situation with him if they win the Big 12. But you also have with Tulane, Tulane is at 20 now, Houston at 21, Tulane at 20. You have their head coach leaving as well. And he's already said, I'm going to coach if we get into the college football playoffs. So, all right, Michigan drops to 19, which, yeah, you'll love to see it. I really wish they could have play. Whatever. Michigan 19. Your season's over. Enjoy the Cheez-It Bowl, the Pop-Tart Bowl, whatever bowl you're going to.
I don't want
Mayo
to
Bowl
because I don't want a fun thing dumped on them. Like,
no, well, they won't win it. That's the thing. Because anytime they play a good team,
Mayo
they won't win. Yeah. Arizona's at 18, Virginia at 17. So now we're getting into with Virginia. That one's obviously interesting with the ACC situation there. If they win the championship, can they jump? I mean, will they look like so far they've got them ranked higher than all the group of 5 schools that would matter. So that's interesting. USC at 16, Utah at 15. Feel free to stop me if you guys have any thoughts on any of those so far.
On 14 Vanderbilt, guys, you know what I've found kind of interesting is there's this huge push over the last 2 days to make Diego Pavia a Heisman frontrunner now.
He's like third.
So if you look at the odds, they were, yes, but he has moved up. He is right level as Mendoza and Sayin, which I think is crazy. And his season is done. But like his odds have literally gone basically right at the same as Sayin and Mendoza now, which is crazy to me.
No, that's that. I'm
worried about those Southern SEC voters.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. A lot of that stuff is just I don't feel like anyone. I feel like there's going to be an effort to say he went through more adversity, and if like that's the argument we're going to make, then great. Why not give it to the dude out at Cal? That quarterback, he's great. He's been through a lot of adversity. They lost a bunch of games. Their freshman quarterback. If that's all we care about, if we don't care about who the best is, then that's fine. Diego Pavia is not the best college football player, so sorry. This is kind of big. Texas at 13. They are up 3 spots. They beat Texas A&M. So they're keeping that drama very much alive, having them at 13. That would, of course, keep them out as of right now. Right? I mean,
is Miami in the ACC championship game?
No, that is
they're not.
Virginia. No, Virginia and Duke holds the tiebreaker there. Because they lost all these non-conference.
Wait. The ACC championship is Virginia versus Duke.
7-5 Duke.
Yeah, they lost a whole bunch of non-conference games, and then.
You're trolling. You got to be trolling me right now.
I'm not.
So you mean to tell me? Wait. Let me get this right. So if Duke wins, they will be in the college football playoffs.
No. Well, I mean, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they won't because
no, they won't. No, here's where it gets interesting.
Of James Madison, assuming they win, they would take up a spot, and then the winner of Tulane and North Texas would be in.
Yeah.
They'd both be ahead of Duke. So
this
Duke
would be out. This would be the scenario that would keep the ACC out, as if Duke wins. Keep the ACC champ out. May not keep Miami out, but
I'm here for that.
Keep the ACC champ out if that happens. So
you have got to be kidding me. This is a mess. The ACC is a mess.
Yes.
I see Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway arguing about the Big Ten. I think Joey Galloway said the Big Ten is closer to the ACC than the SEC. That's blasphemy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, that's what I see. Duke versus Miami. That would never happen here.
The other thing is we're gonna see 2 crappy playoff games, right? So the 5 seed play and the 12 seed. Assume it's going to be James Madison at the 12. You're going to have like a 17 to 20 point spread for whoever the 5 seed ends up being. And then the 6 seed is going to play the 11 seed, which is going to be another bad team. So you got 2 really crappy first round playoff games, most likely.
Well, that's also why this push to expand it beyond 12 is ludicrous to me, because
get it to 8.
We're all fighting over like the teams that are going to get blown out.
8 is the number. Ole Miss is at 6.
Can't go backwards.
Let's get through all of them. Notre Dame's at 10, so Notre Dame is down a spot. They're only 2 ahead of Miami. Then you have Bama at 9, which is up a spot. I'm curious what happens if Bama loses, or I'm sorry, if yeah, if Bama wins the SEC championship game, obviously that helps them. But if they lose it, that's a 3-loss SEC team that lost in a championship game. What do they do with that spot? They're right now keeping them firmly in, so giving them some buffer room. Oklahoma is at 8. Texas A&M drops to 7 from their number 3 spot. So they drop them down 4 spots. Ole Miss up to 6th. Minus Lane Kiffin, move up a spot. I think that's the committee acknowledging that like Texas A&M was a fraud, and most people who watched them this year knew it because when you look at their schedule, they played like the 7 worst SEC teams. So the fact that Ole Miss probably has some better wins, I'm not listening to the broadcast, but I'm guessing they're counting better wins for Ole Miss than Texas A&M. But
who's the CFP clown speaking tonight? Is it Yurachek?
I think is it Hunter Yurachek, the dude from is it Arkansas?
That's a tough.
Which is having their own just beautiful coaching search. As we're speaking of great coaching hires,
they've got a head coach.
Yes, that's true. Better than Penn State.
They
have a coach who I think ended on like a 3-game losing streak from Memphis, right? But yeah. Anyway.
So by the way, right now, sorry guys, the matchup for the 8-9 would be Alabama, Oklahoma. So if things stood the same, which they won't, but that would be the 8-9 1.
I go ahead and just go ahead and simulate to the end for that one. I don't care. I've watched that game so many times in the SEC this year. It's so boring. Like, let's do it again. Let's have Alabama and Oklahoma play and watch both of them have one-dimensional offenses. Fantastic. 5 is Oregon. 4 is Texas Tech. 3 is Georgia. And then, of course, number 2 and number 1, Indiana and Ohio State, the matchup we get this weekend in Indianapolis, which I've been wearing this hat to remind Ryan Day this is the next job. So let's make sure we take care of business there in Indy this week. But all right. So, Scott, you're saying the winner of that is who Ohio State would play?
As of the bracket right now, Oklahoma and Alabama are the 8-9. Assuming OSU stays as 1 too. But is there a team out there, guys, that could be in that 8-9 that makes you nervous? Because for me, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've been saying Notre Dame. That's the team that I'm like, oh gosh, that's who I would want to avoid in the Rose Bowl in the 8-9. But is there anyone for you guys that you would like to see Ohio State avoid in the Rose Bowl?
Avoid? I mean, the only team
the team you don't want to see there.
The only teams that really give me pause, I think Texas Tech is really good. I think Oregon is a good team because of Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning just don't fear nobody, and he keeps that mentality. Maybe Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defense. Is Oklahoma's defense still second in the country after Ohio State?
I don't remember, but they're very good. I give you that. Like,
I think
I watched
good.
I think
they played LSU. Yeah, they played LSU on Saturday, and their defense was awesome, and their offense was absolute garbage.
Yeah. So that's, by the way, that's for those who haven't paid a lot of attention to the SEC other than the marquee matchups. That's almost every team. Like Ole Miss has a tremendous offense and a crappy defense. Like Texas A&M has a dynamic offense when it's clicking, but it can also blow up in your face. So, yeah, I mean, I understand the argument for Texas saying they want to get in because they do look like they're playing pretty well, but don't lose to Florida. Sorry. Like that stuff just boggles my mind. You got Steve Sarkisian saying, well, maybe we shouldn't schedule Ohio State. No, maybe you should beat a 4-8 team. Maybe that's what you should do. And stop whining about losing 3 games. Sorry. That's been frustrating.
Every year, it feels like there's going to be an SEC team that whines about their exclusion from the playoff and tries to get everybody to forget that there was a really bad loss. See Alabama in 24 and see Texas in 25. It's like, don't lose to bad opponents in your conference, on your schedule. And also, this committee, and I put it in the YouTube chat, has no desire to embrace debate because 11 and 12 are just like, someone like the seeding here.
Well,
what I was wondering what they do with Miami because the last 2 weeks they had a gold bracket around the Canes that said must win conference championship, and now there's Miami at 12, the second team out.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's the reality of it. But here's something to consider: if Bama loses the championship game, I'm not saying the committee will or won't punish them. But if they go out and if let's say BYU loses their conference championship game. I mean, those are two spots that theoretically you could put Miami and Notre Dame both in and not have to worry about that argument between
BYU
the head-to-head
would
between Miami and Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, I think BYU.
Well, yeah, BYU will be one. I'm just saying. Yeah, but if Bama only be in one spot ahead of Notre Dame and then technically Miami would be right behind Notre Dame when BYU theoretically loses. I'm guessing they will. Yeah, that's just it's going to be an interest. They're setting themselves up to get everybody to tune in on Sunday and figure out what's going on with this, of course.
It's funny because SMU last year, remember they were in that ACC championship game against Clemson. And it was like, do you punish a team for having to play an extra game? And that was obviously a really close game. And then the committee still put SMU in, and then they ended up losing big in the first round of the playoffs. Hey, I had a question real quick for Tyvis, because I was really curious about this. On Sunday, I know as a fan, I am like crazy hyper, heart pounding, almost like there's a huge bet on the line coming down to the last minute, watching where the bracket placement actually goes. And I'm thinking back to your year, Tyvis, and, watching the playoff when it was like, is it going to be OSU? Is it going to be TCU? Like, as a fan, the heart's pounding. As a player, what is it like watching the selection show?
Man, I was stressed out. I was sitting there. I was at my apartment. It was me and Cardell watching it on TV, and they do the order. So they flash Bama, then boom, they flash. I think it might have been Oregon, and then it was Florida State. And I'm sitting there, and my heart is going like this because we don't know. Like, the sad part is, like, you truly have no idea. Like, Urban had no idea, ADs didn't have nothing. So nobody know. We all in it blind. And they flipped that card over, and it said on State. I screamed.
I still remember, Tyvis, my heart pounding so much, not even as a player, just as a fan. We were driving back from Indy after watching that game against Wisconsin, and it was like, oh, well, it feels like you guys are going to be in, but like you just never know. And I just can't even imagine as a player the tension that is. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was stressful. It was stressful.
Yeah, that's those are good memories, man. And Tyvis, I know I can't imagine what it's like to be possibly playing in the game. I see this question from Ryan, who said, if Alabama loses, OSU wins, who do you think plays Oklahoma for a chance at Ohio State in round 2?
If Alabama loses and OSU wins, who would play Oklahoma in that round?
That would be in that 9-8 spot, right?
They probably.
I mean, I'm thinking like again,
Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, it would seem like Notre Dame would be right there if they're obviously not. They don't have a conference to play at a championship for, so they're just sitting there waiting.
I would imagine Notre Dame will move up. They play Oklahoma. That'll be a really good game. I think Notre Dame probably wins that game, and we'll have a rematch of last year's championship in Rose Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, could you imagine Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Pasadena in the Rose Bowl quarterfinal? I mean, that's ridiculous. How much would that ticket cost?
Oh my God!
Woo!
That would be the not to get too far ahead of it. That would be the tough task for Marcus Freeman, right? Is to like keep his guys focused on, hey, the revenge game doesn't happen if you don't win this 9-8 game. You gotta lock in and stay focused, because I'm sure that would be all on their minds as we're going to get to try to go back and avenge that Ohio State loss, but you don't know. You got to get through it. Final thoughts, Tyvis, Scotty. We got a few more guys to bring in, so I'm going to let you guys get out. But if you want any final thoughts on this before we let you go?
My final thought is Texas better not get in. I'm sorry. I'm not for the 3-loss teams getting in. You lose 3, like that's it. Like, you shouldn't get in. I'm sick of the SEC bias. I'm sick of them saying it's the tough conference. Okay, whatever. You lose 3, you shouldn't be in. So therefore, even if Bama lose, I wouldn't put them in. I'm sorry. Like, you don't deserve to be in if you lose 3 games. So that's my thing. And I have to answer Chris G's question. No, I have not gotten a chance to get my gold pants fixed yet.
Yeah, we got to get that done. Hey, also tomorrow morning, Tyvis Eats a Thing is coming back 8:15. He's so excited for this one.
I'm not. Do I get to guess the price? It's not rigged, is it?
No, there's no guessing this. You just have to eat a thing. We have a guest coming in and everything.
That defeats the whole purpose of the segment.
Well, we have a guest coming. You'll just have to find out at 8:15. It's one of your favorite foods.
Tune in.
One of your favorite foods.
Tune in.
Scotty, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, well, two things. I cannot wait for Saturday night, right? I mean, you've got the Heisman Trophy, I feel like, on the line. You got the 1 seed and Rose Bowl on the line. And, it's still the idea of the 16-0 season, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of people like, well, you can lose that game. You still get the bye. Everything would be fine. Still, 16-0 sounds amazing. So I can't wait for Saturday night. We're going to watch it at Hollywood Casino, do a big watch party for that. And then Sunday, we're also going to be at Hollywood Casino at noon, finding out exactly where this bracket plays out for Ohio State. So join us, Hollywood Casino, on Sunday. My heart's going to be pounding, similar to 2014. But every time we do a bracket show, whether it's the NCAA tournament or college football, that heart is pounding like crazy. So I can't wait for it.
There we go. Should be a lot of fun out there this weekend at the casino. Thanks, guys, for that. Appreciate it. We'll let you get out of here. And Tyvis, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Now, Eric, while we're getting our next couple guys, Jacob Reimer and Dylan Gonzalez, we're going to pop in here. But I think that question was asked, Reese, of who would you not want to see for Ohio State? Did you answer? I didn't know if you got a chance to answer that. I know we were all kind of talking there. I was going to let you have the forum.
Yeah, I'd say right now Texas Tech. If you look at the Red Raiders,
I can see that.
Top 5 offensively in the country. I think they're, of the teams, the most complete, I think, in the country outside of Ohio State and probably Indiana. So to be honest, it goes back to what Urban was saying before the Michigan game. A team's got to score 3 touchdowns on you. And I don't see, of the, 9 they ranked today. Oregon maybe, but I don't know if DeCorian Moore and their Evan Stewart and a couple, maybe the other wide receiver, is if they put them on ice just for the college football playoff, or there's serious injury concerns there. Because without those 3 wide receivers, that's, if I'm a Ducks fan, I'm concerned they're also losing coordinators. I just saw this news that Ole Miss is going to have Charlie Weiss Jr. as their OC in the college football playoff. I think Lane Kiffin gave him his blessing. So there's going to be
generous of him.
Some teams, I think, that suffer a little bit because of coaching upheaval in this. I think Oregon could be one of them if both their coordinators decide if they stick with the Ducks, or I don't know if the Cal news has been official yet, but
I feel
National
like
Signing Day is tomorrow.
Today.
So where do these guys go if they're trying to recruit for Kentucky, if they're trying to recruit for Cal?
Which, obviously, for those of you checking us out on the YouTube chat, thank you for doing that. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. All day we'll have reaction to all the recruiting stuff tomorrow, of course, on the fan. So Dylan Gonzalez is in. Jacob Reimer is in. Guys, I know Rhyme Time, I know you're just – aren't you glad there isn't a college basketball game to preempt this?
Well,
you want to get to the college basketball after this, right?
Well, I thought from last week I got brought into this because of how long the Maui Invitational game went into the college football rankings that I was brought in to talk college basketball during that if need be. But no, after this.
I know a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people were like, I can't believe I'm being forced to watch college basketball. I was like, I'm actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching the college basketball. It's a good reason to watch.
Great game, too.
No, the past 2 weeks they've been gaslighting us into watching 2 college basketball games unwillingly for some of us.
Every year.
Well, there's a monster slate.
So you guys have been sitting back and watching. Dylan, curious, you guys have just been sitting back and watching some of this unfold. Group of 5 versus ACC champ thing. What are your thoughts there?
So apparently Tyvis doesn't listen when we talk on the show because I've been giving the ACC chaos theory for like 2 months, and then he's like surprised by it to start the stream. But but I think
it was a beautiful moment there.
Yes, the committee ranking both JMU and North Texas I think is big. I would like to see them ask the committee chair where Duke is ranked because they continue to rank after the top 25. If there's any chance that if Duke beats Virginia, if they're able to jump JMU or North Texas if they beat Tulane. I'd be interested in that. My guess would be no, with Duke sitting at 5 losses. So all we need is Duke to win. JMU's like a 23.5-point favorite in the Sun Belt Conference, so let's sketch them in. And then someone has to win between Tulane and North Texas, obviously. So it's very possible that the ACC gets left out, and they need to maybe change their tiebreaker situation to reflect the CFP, and then they could have just put Miami in, and then we don't have to worry about any of this. But speaking of Miami, at the top, I feel like the CFP committee is giving themselves problems, because let's say Bama beats A&M and they like flip in the rankings. You'll have A&M, Miami, and Notre Dame all sitting right next to each other. And you've told me the whole year that you think Notre Dame's better than Miami, but you're going to have 2 teams right by Notre Dame that beat Notre Dame. And I think head-to-head should matter more than anybody else if you're 9, 10, 11, or whatever it'll be. And so those teams should rank higher than Notre Dame. That's just my opinion.
Reimer, what are some thoughts you have on all this?
I'll go on record right now. This will be the one and only time I will ever root for Duke, because I want the pure chaos to happen and just get 2 of those like North Texas or JMU in. I think that would be great for those group of 5 programs to get in and show like, yeah, there is a world where we can get in, and who knows, maybe create some chaos. I know it's a lot more unlikely to happen in college football than it happens in college basketball, but you never know. It can be someone's really great night. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think it's interesting to see the committee just show up conference champ for those 2 spots and showing like, yeah, if Duke goes on to win, they're going to leave it open for a non-ACC team to be in those last 2 spots.
Yeah, it's looking, I mean, like, I know we're talking about some of the teams that are probably going to get in and then not be favored at all. And, you know, have Sean McDonough lecturing everybody about how dare these teams even be in the college football playoffs. But like, at some point, this sport is unserious when it says it wants to go to 16 or 24, because I just don't, as much fun as this discussion is. And I do think I like the argument and the like ideological thought process of getting through all these things. It would be very shocking if any of the teams that we're talking about who should sneak in, even Texas, if Texas got in.
I mean, I would think, honestly, if you put Texas in against Oregon or Texas in against Ole Miss.
Yeah, I just feel like we're having
might,
right. Yeah,
might be
I mean, I feel like there's,
but
I feel like it's going to be a very difficult thing to know, you know, with a lot of these teams at the back end of this bracket, like, you know, they're going to hype up these games. Maybe there will be an upset, but given what we saw last year, that's very unlikely. So, actually, I guess I should say if the SEC gets a bunch of teams in, there will be good games, because those teams seem to all play each other really close, and then they go play teams out of conference and get smoked. So if we get a couple SEC matchups in the first round, you'll get all the hype for it. It'll be great games. Everyone will get tons of ratings. They'll get to the second round and get just dusted by a better team. So
that's why they want Alabama and Oklahoma again for a chance to play Ohio State, just to have a good game before potentially getting whooped in the Rose Bowl.
Exactly right. I you know, that whole question of who do you fear, I think Texas Tech's like defense and offensive lines are pretty good, and they have a quarterback that gives you some pause. Indiana, I think Ohio State's next biggest challenge in this playoff is this weekend. And then if they win that game, hopefully they don't have to see Indiana again. I don't like rematches. That then I would throw a lot more out of that and just say I don't want a part of that, but I guess it could happen. But
I think
Georgia's defense is good.
I think the committee does have something on their hands, like say it's a close game between Ohio State and Indiana. Do they keep them at 1 and 2 potentially, or maybe just move Indiana down to 3? But then if Ohio State blows Indiana out, or for some reason vice versa, would they potentially be a 1 and 4 and we get a rematch of that in the quarterfinal? I feel like if there are 2 conference opponents that are just playing each other, you don't want that kind of quick turnaround, and you maybe get a national championship rematch if anything.
Yeah, that's why I think the loser of that game, they only go down to 3. I know you're saying if there's a blowout, then maybe, but I think they're going to try to keep them on the opposite sides of the bracket we do get a rematch, it'll be in the national championship game.
No,
Yeah,
the committee showed a lot of love for Iowa early on in this process, where I was like, yeah, they really value what the Big Ten is as a conference. And I think what's happened in the SEC has given them the ability to give the Big Ten those two buys and say, all right, if they meet in the national championship game, fine, because then we'll have two of the best teams, if not the two best teams, that meet at the end of this whole thing on January 19th. Then they can get a bunch of good, and I'll say it, inventory between December 20th and that title tilt.
yeah. No, and you know what? Sadly, fair or not, this is the reality. Like, Indiana being on that opening weekend won't move the meter as much as some of these other schools.
Right.
You know, like them hosting a playoff game, as much as it would be cool for that school I don't think they want that to happen. Clearly, they want to beat Ohio State, be the number one team, and have a bye. But
They needed that.
I think
last
if there's a chance to keep them in the 1 through 4 spot, if Ohio State beats Indiana, I would think the committee would prefer that, just even from the television rankings, the ratings standpoint. They would want to maybe have one of these more powerhouse schools that have a little bit more cachet with the fans in the football world being one of the schools that would be hosting a playoff game.
And I wonder, if Indiana does somehow find its way into the first round hosting a game, which I think if at worst the loser of the Big Ten goes to 5 and then is hosting, do they get put on one of the Turner networks for the first round? Because that I'm fascinated to see which 2 games are put on TBS relative to the games put on ESPN.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think
Ryan,
there's no shot of Indiana going down to 5, though, just because they have that head-to-head with Oregon. I know head-to-head doesn't matter when it comes to Notre Dame, but I feel like when it comes to that, they would just slide Indiana in front. And even if Ohio State loses, I mean, you've been the number 1 team the whole, season. I don't see them dropping them all the way out of a top 4 spot.
No, it would be it's not likely. But if they did, I'd say that's as far. But I think you're right.
Do you guys think there's any buffer for Miami to move up and Bama to move down? Or do you think they're going to do what they did last year? And it's because BYU is what's stopping Miami from being right by Notre Dame. And I feel like that I don't think the committee wants that, but they're putting themselves in a situation to potentially have that. And I don't understand why they're doing that.
I think they really want them in, but I think
as in Miami.
Yeah, but I think from what I've seen, and I keep looking at the bracket, and they're telling us conference champ 5, conference champ 4. Well, Miami doesn't have the opportunity to do that. So the more I see that in front of me, I go, they're probably not getting it then. And you're probably looking at, if it's not Virginia, then 2 group of 5 conference champs.
Yeah, because let's say BYU loses and they flip them with Miami 11 and 12. Like I said earlier, you'll have A&M 9, Notre Dame 10, Miami 11. Those are essentially the bubble spots because 2 conference champions that are ranked lower than them are going to get in. So basically, if you want an at-large spot, you have to be in the top 10. And I just think them going 11, 10, 9 between Notre Dame, A&M, and Miami, when we've seen combinations of that played on the field, they're just putting themselves in a really crappy situation come Selection Sunday. If they're going to continue to rank Notre Dame over Miami and say that head-to-head in that situation doesn't matter.
I've got a question sticking with BYU. If they lose a close one to Texas Tech and Alabama loses to Georgia as well, giving them 3 losses, I don't know how the committee is going to value conference championship losses, if that's still going to matter. But if BYU loses a close one, only having 2 losses, then would they potentially put BYU over Alabama?
No, I think BYU needs to beat Texas Tech to have a shot at this thing.
Yeah.
I tend to agree. If we were going to just strip the logos off those helmets and look at their resumes, BYU, you can make the argument, has just as good a wins or better than Alabama.
Exactly.
The committee, I think, understands that the Big 12 does have some pretty decent teams in it. And when you look at all the analytics and metrics, BYU has some really good wins. Their problem, I think, would be, even if you took the logos away, you lost to one of the playoff teams twice. You know what I mean? I feel like that's probably what would seal their fate because it wasn't they lost to Texas Tech earlier and they got blown out. So avenging that game with a closer loss probably isn't enough. They probably would have to beat them to say, all right, yeah, we avenged that loss. But yeah, if they need to figure out a way to run the ball against Texas Tech's defense because they couldn't do that in their first matchup and they lost by like 20. So if they can do it this time, maybe that'll happen. By the way, Ryan had something. I saw the comment that popped up on the screen. It went away, but I think it was Ryan in the chat who, had asked if Indiana will have a couple big. Says they'll have a couple big plays. Will they be runs or passes? What do you guys think of that?
I would say pass, just from what we've seen. I think the thing with Indiana is that they're a vibes team, and so I think if a big play happens, it'll be Mendoza down the field. And how did he come up with that catch? Because I do think for this Ohio State defense, and if we're talking strictly Saturday, they present Mendoza with things he's not seen before.
Yeah, I think neither is the answer. I don't think that they're going to do much against this Ohio State defense. I don't know if I'm being biased, but I just don't see it. This defense is so good. This defense might be the best defense I've ever seen with my own two eyes in my lifetime.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean to Dylan's answer to it neither, because I don't know that are they willing to challenge the secondary and how good they've been, and if they try to go off the run, will they even be able to get to the next level with how good the secondary's been at getting tackles when they get to that position?
Yeah, I think that's all fair. Here's what I would say if I were making the case for Indiana to have some big plays down the field. My two areas of concern there are, one, you really haven't seen a quarterback this good all year long. Sorry to Arch Manning. He wasn't that guy at the time. Dylan, maybe he is now, but he wasn't then. So I think that's a concern. The other thing I would say is if I'm looking at the film, if Devin Sanchez is on the field, I'm attacking him. If Igbinosun is matched up one-on-one, I am throwing at him and I am trying to draw. I'm throwing it high and hoping it floats and letting both of them fight for it and hoping I get a PI. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing anything I can because as much as he is like a dynamic player and all that, he still has not stopped getting pass interference penalties. It still rears its ugly head from time to time. So like, those are two areas of concern I would have. But again, those are minor because I think you guys are right. I don't think Fernando Mendoza has faced a defensive line like this. So I don't think he's faced a pass rush like this. I don't think he's faced a secondary like this. So Caleb Downs being the ultimate, chess piece is I'm trying to think of ways that Indiana could beat Ohio State down the field. That's what I would see.
It's just for too many times this season, you've seen Mendoza go, blanket, someone's down there and just chuck it. And it's worked out in their favor. So I agree with, both of what Dylan and Reimer were saying. And it's like, I don't have much for this Indiana offense, but if there's going to be something made, it's with that quarterback.
Yeah. And I will say
only has a few PIs this season. He's cut him way down from last year. Last year, he led the nation. And now he has only 3 or 4. I know. Did he have one in the Michigan game?
Yeah, he did.
And I think that's probably why it's fresh in your mind, but he's really not that dude anymore.
No, but what I mean is he's just a physical corner who every play he just has his hands all over. And I think it depends week to week who the ref is. Honestly, if they get a ref who lets them play, he'll be fine. But if they get a ref who decides to call it down the field, if you get too handsy, it's going to be, again, that's one play. It'll be 15 yards, that doesn't kill you as a defense. It's not the NFL either where it gets you the ball at the 2 or whatever.
And do we wonder for Saturday, and Bone, I'll start with you, about two head coaches gleaming with confidence and how do they want to attack this game? Where if Cignetti gets the ball first or Ryan Day gets the ball first, are they going for it early?
Oh, I think you're going to see, to answer your question, I don't think you're going to see coaches that will sit back and say, well, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to risk it all here. Ryan Day is having the greatest year of any college coach in recent memory, and Curt Cignetti just got a Brinks truck backed up to what he was already making. Those guys have to be two of the most confident coaches in college football. So yeah, I think they will roll out whatever they do best and say, try to stop it. And they both know there's really nothing to lose. The only thing you lose is the number 1 seed. You're not even losing a bye probably from this game. So, yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Reeser.
I feel like I could see Signetti like right off the rip, just wanting to maybe send a message after how last year went in the shoe. And I know Ryan Day's always said he wants to win the middle 8, which in that situation he 100% still can. But that's definitely a factor with how confident Signetti is wanting to come out and just send that message, go right down Ohio State's throat and put some points on the board.
Yeah, if someone's gonna try to get off to a fast start, I mean, both teams are gonna try to, but I think Indiana might be one willing to gamble with maybe some deep throws down the field, like T-Bone was saying. But really, I think Ohio State has a little bit to lose because what has the rhetoric been? I mean, Ryan Day today, he basically was like, okay, the Michigan game's over. It's time for the Big Ten championship. And I'm not saying Indiana doesn't have that mentality, but that's been the goal day one from Ohio State. It's like, okay, beat Michigan, win the Big Ten versus Indiana. I feel like they're very much playing with house money where if they lose, they really don't lose anything. No one, I think, is really expecting them to win. And they kind of just got to the party. So it's like all the pressure is on Ohio State, if there is any. But to your point, Bone, there really isn't any pressure on either team when it comes to the big picture of winning the national championship.
And Dylan, more to your
Let's say that
point,
both teams don't want to win it.
they
Sorry, Richard, go
do,
ahead.
but I think Ohio State with last week against Michigan, you played Michigan, I think, more in your head. Indiana, you're playing on the field. And I
Right.
think it's been just shown this season that when there's another team on the field across from this Ohio State one, there's no real comparison. I mean, there isn't on any team that Ohio State's played, and I think this will continue into Saturday and likely through the college football playoff. You look across the field and you be like, would I rather have this guy at this position? And kind of as I'm saying it, you know, with the two quarterbacks here, I think a lot of people, and Harry in the YouTube chat made this point, that Saturday's for the Heisman. To the coaches, each team, do they go in, do you think, with that kind of a mindset of, all right, I've got to showcase my guy so we can have the best chance not only A, to win the game, but to put him in New York City and win that trophy?
That's kind of what I'm thinking is I feel like they're going to just let it all hang out and say, what are the consequences? Other than, you don't want to see anybody get hurt or anything, but like outside of that's football, right? Like outside of that, I think they're just going to come in and say, this is what we do best. Good luck, and then and for Indiana, they want revenge, right? They want to avenge the loss from last year. They want to show people they're not just a team that beats up on bad Big Ten teams. And for Ohio State, obviously, it's can we go undefeated in back-to-back? But back-to-back is not in jeopardy this weekend. Undefeated is. Heisman is, to your point. So, yeah, I think it's more about they just say, let's go out and show everybody what we can do. And I don't know, kind of like it's not an exhibition, but in a way, like it has that feel of like, just go out there and do what we do. And there's really no consequences for losing this game, other than you don't win the championship, which they both won. But the downsides are not big. The upside is more or less, so why not hang it out and just see what happens? Have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these are the cons of an expanded playoff where I saw plenty of people on Twitter saying this might be the least hyped 1 versus 2 matchup, and I would like to argue with them, but I don't think that I can because it really feels like it has no consequence to it except for the Heisman.
Reese, to your point about it's always felt like the Michigan has been ahead thing. I mean, just look at last year when we went from Indiana to the next week playing Michigan, and we were all saying if you put the Michigan helmet on Indiana, that's how it should be last year. And of course it wasn't. And I feel like that goes to this game. You recognize who is on the other sideline. It's just another opponent. Go do what you're supposed to do.
I like that either Tyler or Jen, whoever put the Will Howard crushing the cigarette, putting the cig out. That's pretty good. By the way, just a reminder, on Saturday, obviously we have the game starts at 8. Am I wrong? I believe that's the Big Ten championship game.
8-ish. It's a Fox.
Right.
Yeah, right.
8:15.
8 is a loose concept. We'll just
The better question is what time do Beam and Justin Zwick go on post game?
Well, Beamer's doing basketball too that day.
Oh, that's on the Fan Deuce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So there is 11 hours of pregame coverage on the Fan on Saturday for this game. 11 hour before the game, we will be on live with lots of different shows, lots of different people talking. So make sure you check all that out. Obviously, we'll have a lot to discuss on those shows and plenty to, I mean, I'm sure in those shows they'll get into discussions because we'll know some results from what we're talking about here. Pretty much the only game left in doubt will be the Big Ten championship. And is the SEC championship at the same time? I don't remember off the top of my head,
I
but
think earlier in the day. I think Ohio
Yeah.
State and Indiana are going up against Virginia and
I
Duke.
think it's at 4.
hey, so you'll have that result too. So you can have, some of that discussion will be happening in some of the pregame shows, I'm quite sure. But yeah, all of that on Saturday should be a lot of fun. Guys, any last words before we get out of here?
There's lots of college basketball games on right now, like Florida and Duke's getting started now.
I'm
North
Purposely
Carolina.
trying to drag this out, Reimer, because I just wanted to see. It's not like you have a child that's already distracting you from these
Yeah,
games.
She's
I know.
laying right here
Dad
next to me,
duties
sound
to do.
asleep. She's sound asleep right here next to me. She's chilling.
There you go. Perfect. Well, that's good to see. Good dadding. Good dad life out of you. That's very good. All right. Well, thanks again for everybody who jumped in the chat. We appreciate you. We'll see you all on our shows tomorrow. So make sure you jump back in with us. And thanks again for doing this. Yeah. And then check out the live shows at the casino this weekend as we react to all this stuff and see it all happen live. Thanks again, guys.